Dark feminine energy will literally save you in so many ways. It'll help you tap into your raw inner power, unlock the most confident and go-getter version of yourself, and help you fulfill your potential in ways you couldn't have even imagined. Now, this video is coming from a girl who was literally stuck in her soft girl energy all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my soft girl energy and I tap into it every single day. I'm an author by profession, and whenever I'm writing one of my romance stories in particular, I will be all about that soft girl energy, that gentleness, that nurturing, calm, go with the flow energy. But I've come to realize that if you approach everything in your life with your soft girl energy, very soon you'll come to feel underseen, undervalued. People might be walking all over you and also making you feel as though you're just not much of a presence in a room. And that's exactly how I used to feel. I used to feel as though I had to fight to get people's attention, to get them to take me seriously, to actually get any sort of attention from people within my industry sometimes, or people around me, even family and friends. Like, I felt as though I was just like fighting to be taken seriously and to be heard. And I was honestly quite afraid of people's judgments and expectations. And I was even afraid to have a voice and put myself out there, even on something like this, like social media. I was constantly just living with so many insecurities and fears. I was judging myself as well as allowing other people to judge me, and constantly worrying about what they are thinking about me. So it was just a really bad place to be in, with all kinds of things going wrong, too much people pleasing, too much gentleness where I should have really put boundaries on. And it wasn't until I discovered how to tap into my dark feminine energy that I finally started feeling like I was in control. I had boundaries, I was confident and poised, I knew exactly how to get attention in a fearless way. I was so unapologetic about taking up space, about having a voice, about having opinions and making them heard, and not letting people talk over me or making me feel as though I am insignificant or my presence is insignificant. Now, again, I want to clarify that I love soft girl energy and I'm all about it. But there are times in which you might want to tap into your dark feminine energy in certain career opportunities, even relationships, certain dynamics in your life. I think it would serve you so much in unlocking your full potential and power. Dark feminine energy isn't about darkness in a negative sense. It's about embracing the raw power that lies within each and every single one of us. It can be described as a magnetic force rooted in intuition, sensuality, shadow work, and resilience. This video is about the 4 characteristics of dark feminine energy and how you can use them in order to become the most confident, fulfilled, and self-loving version of yourself. The first characteristic of dark feminine energy is authenticity. Now, let me be clear, when I first came across dark feminine energy, and it was all over socials, I was a little bit confused. I thought it was like a makeup trend or like a style trend, and it was kind of more to do with the aesthetic and the appearance, but actually it's all about your inner work. Authenticity means owning yourself and loving yourself holistically, flaws and all. Once you grow comfortable and confident with every single part of yourself, your self-love will just be at an all-time high, and you will exude this natural charm and confidence that people cannot buy, and honestly, you cannot transfer. It's like either you have it or you don't, and it comes from a place deep within. Society often tells women to hide their imperfections or to work really, really hard to stamp them out, or, you know, to eliminate them. But what if we started loving our skin the way it is, loving the way we age, loving our body, whilst working towards, you know, healthier skin, working towards a healthier physique, but also just loving and accepting ourselves as we are? How much more beautifully and amazingly would we show up in every single opportunity in our lives, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's career? We would just show up with this extra bounce in our step, extra confidence, and we'd just be exuding this beautiful charm. So dark feminine energy isn't about trying to follow a trend or an aesthetic or look a certain way. It's about you tapping into your authenticity. What makes you feel confident? What makes you feel beautiful? What is your style? How do you want to live your life? What makes you feel strong, confident, powerful? As long as you spend your life trying to replicate someone else, emulate their way of life, their way of speaking, their way of being, you'll constantly feel like you're behind or you're not good enough. If you just think about yourself, what do you want to be like? What kind of life is your ideal life? How do you want to speak? What is your personality? How do you want to show up? That authenticity will shine through. And like I said, nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can really replicate it. It is you. And that is your magic, that is your power, that is your unique quality that is going to get you places, because it's something that will instantly and automatically and naturally stand out. Something that really helps me to step into my authentic energy is journaling, figuring out what's going on in my mind, you know, whether the thoughts I'm having, the things that I'm doing are as a result of what people are putting into my head, or whether it's what I truly want for myself. So the more you journal, the more you question, the more you self-reflect, these things come to the forefront, and then you can actually do something about them. I also think it's really important to think about yourself as a child. You know, when you were really free and just a child, you didn't have these concerns about, you know, wanting to be cool, wanting to fit in, wanting to make money. You were just so carefree. And I think when you tap into that mindset, like, okay, what was I like when I was a child? What were my hobbies? What was I passionate about? And you try to revisit that, it's such a place of purity and peace. And I think you discover that a lot of the things that you perhaps let go of on the way, or you started becoming embarrassed of, or you just stopped making time for, like, if you tap back into that, that is like so true to you. Those are some of the first things that you were drawn to naturally, and it's so beautiful to go back to them. For me, it's always been books. I always loved escaping into story. The second characteristic of dark feminine energy is magnetism, attracting people and opportunities with your essence, your aura, your energy. Now, this is deeply linked onto the first point. As you start to become more authentic and just fearlessly yourself, you will attract such goodness into your life. You will instantly start distancing yourself from people who kind of judge you, bring you down, don't match your vibes or energy, and you'll start attracting goodness and people into your life that just kind of match your energy, match your vibe, that just understand you better. It will literally improve every single aspect of your life and make you so magnetic, whether it's with regards to career, personal relationships, familial ties. I think people can just sense when somebody is being themselves in a way that is unapologetic and unashamed and just calm. Dark feminine energy really isn't about darkness or even, you know, being intense. It's about calmness. It's about embracing your natural inner power, your raw femininity, just who you are at the core, who you've always been, and just going with the flow of it, going with the flow of your personality, going with the flow of what you are drawn to. It is literally you embodying the law of attraction. As you start becoming a lot more authentic in your interactions, in your dealings, in your work, you will start attracting the things that go with that energy, that go with that vibration, that just suit you so, so well. And that magnetism is very much a natural force. I'm going to use myself as an example over here. So I've always loved books, but I've always felt really lonely because I would just lose myself in a good book or spend my time at school in the library, and I would just be reading, and I felt as though I was quite lonely because I didn't have many people to share my passion with, and I think it was considered to be a little bit geeky and loserish as well. But I just felt like I was really missing out on friendships and having a big social life growing up. But it got to a stage when I was in my 20s and I thought, you know what, I really just want to put myself out there and express my love of books. So I started a BookTok account back in 2020, and I was just like, I'm just going to speak about all the things that I love about literature, and that led on to me making so many incredible friends here in London who love reading, and now I meet up with them regularly. And something that I always wanted was to attract that, to have that magnetic force in my life where I just speak about something that I'm in love with, that makes me happy, and other people are drawn to that, and then we bounce off each other's energy and that loneliness goes away in a sense. And honestly, I've experienced it. When you have that authentic passion and you just show up as yourself, the most real, raw, unapologetic version of yourself, you will attract people who will just connect with that energy, and it will be such a safe, comfortable and nurturing space. You won't have to pretend. It's so real, it's so beautiful, and it's honestly so fulfilling. The third characteristic of dark feminine energy is boundaries. It's about knowing when to say no without explaining yourself too much or feeling guilty, and knowing what your worth is, why you should be saying no, and the situations in which you should put your foot down. When you start practicing to say no, you start putting yourself first and you start protecting yourself. You have like this sacred shield around yourself where you do not give your time, your energy, your resources, your mental health to situations that are not going to be good for you. You know there have been situations in the past that you've wanted to not basically get involved in, but you've kind of been pulled into, and a lot of the time it's because you cannot say no, or you don't know how to put these boundaries up in a way that you don't feel so guilty. Having boundaries is all about protecting your energy, because the truth is that the more you give in and you say yes to people, to scenarios that you really want to say no to, because you know deep down they don't benefit you, you are giving away your peace. You are giving away that sacred energy of yours that is reserved to lift you up, to take care of you first and foremost before you can, you know, hand out to other people and give so freely. So you need to learn to protect your energy. Never over-explain your emotions or decisions. You are entitled to making the decisions that you make, and nobody is entitled to your time, your energy, your resources. It is actually a privilege for people to know you, to spend time with you, and when you know your worth, you realize that. The second part of setting boundaries is to confront and heal from your past rather than running away from it. Now, this is more to do with mental boundaries. So if you are constantly haunted by the past and you're running away from it rather than dealing with it, you will not have good boundaries with yourself, and you will constantly be struggling with your discipline, with your focus, with being present in the moment, and you just won't have a good relationship with yourself. So you need boundaries with other people, and you also need boundaries with yourself, as crazy as it may sound. You need to know when to be disciplined. You need to know when to be easy on yourself and be a bit more relaxed. You know yourself the best. You know your body, you know your lifestyle, you know your mind, you know the places in which you are not doing well because your boundaries are just not there. For instance, if you really struggle with discipline, with showing up for yourself, let's say for the gym, and you know that every time you go it's good for your mental health, every time you go it's good for your physique, you need to set up some boundaries with yourself, with that laziness, with that negative mindset, with that procrastination. That boundary needs to be there. So you need to say no to other people, and you also need to say no to yourself. Whenever you feel as though you are holding yourself back from progressing, take a step back and say, no, I'm not going to do this. No self-sabotaging. I'm going to show up for myself today. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to feel amazing after I do my workout. So practice saying no to protect your energy from others and from yourself. The fourth and final characteristic of dark feminine energy is transformation. Honestly, it's about letting go of this fear of change, of becoming someone new, of reinventing yourself, because every single day you are allowed to. You are allowed to show up as your dream self, as different as that may be to who you were a year ago, or even a day ago. Like, you are allowed to change. You're allowed to have this transformative energy within your life, within your mind, within your soul. You are allowed to embrace that wholeheartedly at any point in your life. Now, for me, being a British Pakistani Muslim woman, I felt as though growing up there were a lot of expectations of how a woman should be, should dress, should look, should speak, and I had to unlearn a lot of these things, and I kind of transformed my personality in a way that was consciously different to a lot of the things that I had learned, because that's not how I wanted to be. There were people that I had seen in my community who had basically been, I would say, shaped by very sort of patriarchal norms and expectations, and that's not what I wanted for myself at all. So I had to step away from that, and I had to really show that courage, that bravery, and that strength to reinvent myself, and to give myself permission to sort of mourn certain maybe community ties or certain expectations that I was shunning or moving away from, and just allow myself to transform into who I authentically am, who I want to be, the woman that I have always dreamed of becoming. Something that you can really do to aid your journey of transforming into your ideal self and tapping into your dark feminine energy is to actually come up with rituals that work for you. This can literally be anything, small or big, whatever makes you feel like you are tapping into your raw, untamed energy, that you are living authentically and you are being yourself and you are becoming more and more confident. It can literally be like focusing on your skincare, having a luxurious bath, eating certain foods like snacks. It can even be lighting a candle. It can be meditating. Like, these kind of rituals, they may seem small, but there's so much that is kind of out of our control when we think about it. A lot of the times, you know, the family that we're surrounded by, or sometimes even the friends we might be living with, or our environment at work, like, there's so much that's out of our control. And as you start implementing these various rituals that are just for you, literally created by you, catered for you, into your life, these rituals will make you feel like you have a sense of power over yourself, over your life, over your body, over your mindset, and it will be so empowering. It's such a nice, fun way of beautifying your life as well. Something that really helps me is dancing. I actually take regular Zumba classes and other dance classes, and it just makes me feel so good. It just helps me tap into my like sensual energy, makes me feel so feminine and confident. And for a long time, I stopped dancing because there are certain people in the community who thought it was inappropriate, it was immodest, and I'm not going to get into it, but it makes me feel good. It's a beautiful way for me to work out. It makes me feel really connected to my body. It makes me feel like I'm also connecting with younger Anam who loved to dance. So I guess this is literally me bringing everything that I've spoken about in this video all together. It's like my authentic self. It makes me feel magnetic and like I'm attracting good energy, good people into my life because I've made friends with some of the people that I do go to these classes with. It's made me just feel really sure of myself. It's like helped me come out of my shell. And yeah, I love it. I think you need to really figure out what makes you feel confident and sensual and excited for life, what makes you feel connected to your body and even to your soul, what makes you feel harmonious within yourself. Something else that really helps me is looking at my vision board, which I try to look at regularly because that is a reminder of who I want to be, the kind of energy I want to absorb, the kind of woman I aspire to like become like in the future. And it just helps me tap into the dark feminine energy that I need in order to help me get there. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I absolutely loved making it. I just think tapping into my dark feminine energy helped me to unlearn so many of the patriarchal messages that I had been like dealing with since the time I was a child. And it just helped me figure out who I want to be as a woman, what being a woman means to me. And so yeah, I hope some of that came through in the video. I hope you found it empowering and resourceful and valuable. I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. If you want to see a little bit more about me, my lifestyle, my journey, feel free to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. The details are in the link below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye!